Hit that subscribe button, guys. The latest in boxing. Punching is God-given to a large degree. You can improve punch power through conditioning and proper technique by about 10 to 13%, but most of it is God-given. One guy hits someone and something happens. Another guy hits someone and nothing happens. People don't know what they are looking at. When a guy is as tall as Deontay, it can look awkward. He doesn't do everything textbook for sure. Look at the Klitschko brothers. Vladimir was the most technically correct fighter of the past 20 years. Vitaly was unorthodox, hands by his side, looping punches. They will both be in the Hall of Fame. There's more than one way to do things. Look at the Bermane fight. The first knockdown was like Vladimir. Technically, perfect one, too. The second and third knockdowns were more Vitaly. And pound for pound, Deontay Wilder is the biggest puncher. Nobody punches as hard as Deontay Wilder. So that is what Deontay Wilder's coach / manager, Deas, had to say. He believes that Deontay Wilder is the biggest puncher, at least one of the biggest punchers in the world. He believes, he admits that Deontay Wilder is kind of an awkward type of fighter. He doesn't do everything textbook. He's not like a Vladimir Klitschko. He's not like a very technical fighter. So he admits that his fighter is not a technical guy. He was kind of comparing, the two Klitschko brothers, Vladimir and Vitaly, saying that, Vitaly was a guy who fought with his hands by his side. He was an orthodox type of fighter, while Vladimir was more of a kind of robotic fighter. And it's true, Vladimir Klitschko was always more of a robotic, textbook type of fighter, very European type of fighter. But his brother, his older brother Vitaly, was more of a guy that I think Vitaly had a little bit more toughness in him. I think he was willing more to fight, on the inside and dirty. Vladimir Klitschko was a guy that really liked fighting behind the jab and really liked fighting like a robot, very technical. He didn't like fighting dirty. He didn't like getting rough. While his brother, Vitaly Klitschko, was, in my opinion, he had a little bit more meanness to him. He had a little bit more, he wasn't as, technical as his younger brother, Vitaly, but I think he had more of a dog in him. He was willing to go on the inside. He fought Lennox Lewis toe-to-toe. He fought Corey Sanders toe-to-toe. He was more of a, like I said, I think he had more dog in him. And, Deas said that, Deontay Wilder, there's more, it's not just being technical. There's other ways of, being a successful fighter, I guess. And it's true, I said this in the past, and I'll continue to say it. I believe that Deontay Wilder is the best, worst fighter that we've ever seen. I truly believe he's the best, worst fighter we've ever seen. What I mean by that is, when you look at Deontay Wilder, and you see him for the first time, and you see him throwing wild punches, or you see him, looking kind of awkward and amateurish, you think to yourself, man, this guy is a champion. But then he keeps getting results. He keeps winning. He keeps beating his guys. He keeps basically winning. Even if he loses rounds, he comes back and he wins. That's why I tell people he's the best, worst fighter I've ever seen. He looks very sloppy at times, but he has a way of landing his punching power, and he has a really good, right hand that goes right down the pipe. And he does other things good that other fighters do bad. I think his awkwardness helps him in a way. Every fighter is different, and it's cool that Deontay Wilder is a different type of fighter, because it kind of gets lame always seeing the same type of fighters. Guys like European fighters who fight like robots. They throw a jab and they always try to keep it long, and guys like Victor Postol come to mind, Vladimir Klitschko, and then you got guys that some fighters fight slick. It's the same thing. Some fighters are aggressive, like Gennady Golovkin, prime Mike Tyson, but So when you see someone like Wilder, it's like it's different. It's a different look, you know, because you're like, what the hell? This guy's kind of awkward. He's kind of, you know, he's not a slick fighter. He's not really an aggressive fighter. He looks kind of amateurish, but he looks very vulnerable at the same time. And that's what kind of fascinates you about it when you see him fight as well. And you know, you're always like, you know, squinting your eyes when you're watching Deontay Wilder, because he's always making mistakes, and you see him getting paid. You know, you see fighters making him pay. They hit him, they bust his nose up, but he's always able to, you know, change things even if he's losing, and that takes talent, you know. And yeah, that's all that Deas had to say, basically. You know, he said it's a God-given gift, and I guess it is. You know, I'm not really religious, but you know, Deontay Wilder has that. I think that awkward style helps him. And I think that it's gotten him this far, and it might end up making him the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, because, like I've been saying, although I think Joshua is a more technical fighter than him, better fighter, just because you're a better fighter than Deontay Wilder doesn't mean you can beat him. It doesn't mean he can't beat you, you know. So I will never be shocked if Deontay Wilder were to knock out Anthony Joshua, because Deontay Wilder has what it takes to beat Anthony Joshua. That's just my opinion. You know, people don't like when I say that, Joshua fanboys, but I see the flaws in Wilder. I see the flaws in Joshua. I see the flaws in Dillian White. I see the flaws in Jarrell Miller. I see the flaws in every fighter. You know, one of my favorite fighters, you know who it is? Errol Spence Jr. But I see the flaws in him too. So that's all I have to say, guys. Watch the video from start to finish. As always, much appreciated, and subscribe for daily boxing videos. I'm out.